This is Chris Lefteri. It's a pleasure to explain the project we've just completed for Hyundai Elevators to design some amazing lift interiors. And we thought about the elevator as a third space. What do we mean by this? Because it's neither home nor work. It is a space that is between these environments. And it's the unknown before the end of the day. It's the unknown before the beginning of the day. And we use materials to create these experiences. To really explore what materials can mean for an elevator, we decided to develop 4 different themes. Each of the themes was a unique way of looking at what that journey and that experience can mean for the passengers. As I've already said, one of the most important inspirational points for us was to think about the elevator as a journey. And so for the first theme, which we called the luxury journey, we looked at 1930s Art Deco elevators from New York and how these early elevators with their bellboys who would assist you in your journey by welcoming you on board and asking which floor you wanted to go to could be enhanced through materials. We looked at car interiors, particularly luxury brands, not just today, but in the future, and how these brands will be using materials to create these beautiful environments that will be a celebration of the journey rather than being just a point to get from A to B. As part of this, we thought about rich leathers, of woods, of metals, of textures that reflected the 1930s, and looking at how glass could create an elevator within an elevator and how we can use patterns on that glass to reflect against the walls, to create a truly indulgent experience that really reflected the idea of a journey being a luxury event and something that meant that when you took the elevator in the morning or at the end of the day, that it really was something to enjoy and to celebrate. The second thing we looked at was the idea of the interior of an elevator as a boutique environment. To think about what it meant when you entered a lobby of a luxury hotel, a boutique hotel, and that feeling of being in a beautifully curated space with colors that were on trend, with textures that really played with each other and contrasting with each other, and how we could use lighting to create this sense of impression that often happens with retail spaces or hotel lobbies, and looking at fabrics and looking at soft textures and how we could combine that with lighting. The third thing we looked at was the idea that the elevator is neither a product nor it is an interior. The lighting having a very deep impact on you and being able to play with very fine-tuned textures that borrowed from products and looking at how these patterns could really be applied so that when the passenger enters the elevator, they may not be conscious of it, but when they touch something, they're reassured by the cold metallic of the handle. Or when they press the buttons, there is an experience that is reassuring, that it actually maybe feels more like a product than it does an elevator. And as I said, applying that both to the interior and exterior. Also looking at how lighting can be used so that when you're waiting for the elevator and the elevator doors finally open, that the lighting is used as a way to create a wow factor, so that experience inside the elevator when you enter becomes something to look forward to, something to enjoy. The fourth concept we looked at is one that we call the emotional shelter. Emotional shelter was how the elevator is a retreat in those moments between work and home. What does that mean as the elevator becomes a space that reflects our increasingly in obsession with health and wanting to relax and a sense of well-being? By looking at natural materials, looking at natural surfaces, and looking at lighting that was both therapeutic and welcoming, how can we create a space that truly would be an environment for users to indulge, but in a very quiet, sensorial way?